Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right in a relationship, but it still falls apart? Maybe you've been told to be kind, give her space, or just be yourself, only to end up confused, frustrated, or worse, completely ghosted. What if I told you most of what you've learned about women is wrong? Today I'm going to reveal the truth, 10 hidden weaknesses that most women have but rarely admit. And trust me, once you understand these, the whole dating game will start to make sense. So stick around because this video could flip everything you thought you knew about attraction. Drop a quick "I'm ready" in the comments if you're committed to watching until the end, because every second counts. Here's the harsh truth. The dating world is not fair. And if it feels like the rules only work for certain guys, it's because those men know something most others don't. They don't follow the usual advice. They don't overthink every move. Why? Because they understand women on an emotional level. Women aren't making decisions based on logic or checklists. Attraction isn't always conscious. And that's exactly what we're breaking down today. I'll walk you through the 10 biggest psychological triggers that pull women in and show you how to use that knowledge not to manipulate, but to create better, more honest connections. This video won't sugarcoat the truth. No recycled tips or feel-good fluff. Just real, raw insight that works in today's world. If you're already feeling the value, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that actually helps men grow. And if you want to support this channel directly, consider joining the membership. It keeps us focused, ad-free, and helping as many men as possible. Alright, let's get into the first weakness. The steadfast man. Let's get one thing straight. Women are used to men who talk big and act small. They've seen it all. Guys who promise to call and don't. Guys who act serious for a week and disappear the moment things get real. In today's world, flakiness is the norm. That's why a man who is steady, consistent, and reliable stands out immediately. Being steadfast isn't about being perfect or robotic. It's about being the kind of man who does what he says, even when it's inconvenient. You don't need to be flashy, and you don't need to impress her with grand gestures. What matters is that when you say something, she knows she can count on it. And trust me, that's rare. Most guys don't realize how much women are paying attention to the little things. If you tell her you'll text her later and you don't, she notices. If you cancel plans without a good reason or you disappear emotionally when things get a little tough, she registers that too. Even if she doesn't say anything, she's watching. And every small break in consistency lowers your value in her mind. What makes the steadfast man different is that he doesn't operate based on how he feels in the moment. His actions aren't driven by mood swings or emotional highs. He's solid, predictable in the best way, not boring, reliable. When life gets chaotic, she doesn't wonder if you're going to fold under pressure. She knows you won't, because you've proven it. This kind of consistency is rare because it takes real self-discipline. You're not just trying to be dependable for her, you're practicing being dependable in your own life. You don't skip workouts because you're tired. You don't delay your goals because of a bad week. You keep going. That's what builds trust, not just with women, but with yourself. The truth is, a lot of guys show up strong in the beginning. They're attentive, romantic, and say all the right things. But that's easy when everything is new. The real test comes later, when you're tired, frustrated, busy, or not getting your way. That's when most guys break character. They stop trying, they shift blame, they ghost. But the man who stays consistent even when things aren't easy? That's the man who separates himself from the rest. A woman doesn't want to guess where she stands with you. She doesn't want to wonder if you're serious or just another guy passing time. She wants to feel a sense of emotional safety, and she only gets that from a man who keeps showing up with the same energy, the same intention, and the same level of presence over and over again. The steadfast man doesn't need to explain himself with big words. His actions do all the talking. When he says something, he means it. When he commits to something, he follows through. And that quiet consistency builds a level of respect that good looks, money, or charm alone can't buy. So if you want to stand out in a world full of flaky men, start with this. Be steady. Be the man who follows through. Be the one she never has to second guess. Because when a woman realizes you're different, not because you said you are, but because you've shown it, everything changes. 2. Confidence. Everyone says confidence is attractive. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. But here's what they don't explain. Real confidence isn't loud. It's not about being the center of attention or trying to prove something to the world. It's not showing off, talking over people, or acting like you've got it all figured out. In fact, the most confident men are often the quietest in the room. Why? Because they don't need to prove anything. That's what makes them powerful. Confidence is calm. It's knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and not needing anyone else to validate it. Women can sense this immediately. They can feel when a man is grounded. They notice how you hold eye contact, how you speak without rushing, and how you stay composed when things don't go your way. That's what they're drawn to. Most men try to fake confidence by chasing attention or showing off material things. But women are intuitive. They know when it's real and when it's just a performance. You don't need fancy clothes, a perfect body, or a big paycheck to be confident. Those things can help, but they're not the foundation. Confidence is built from the inside out. It starts with how you handle failure. A confident man doesn't fall apart when something goes wrong. He adapts, he learns, he stays focused. Women notice that. They're watching how you carry yourself under pressure, how you handle being told no, and whether you still stand tall when life doesn't go your way. The truth is, confidence is built one decision at a time. It's built by doing hard things, keeping your promises, and pushing forward even when you're scared. It's built by setting goals and achieving them. Not because you need to prove anything to others, but because you respect yourself enough to follow through. A man who respects himself is attractive, period. And women want to be around men who know their worth without acting like they're better than everyone else. That balance, being secure without being arrogant, is what separates a confident man from a cocky one. There's also another side to this. Women have their own insecurities. They worry about how they look, how they're being judged, and whether they're enough. When you're confident, you give her a sense of stability. You become the calm in the chaos. And that makes her feel safe, not in a controlling way, but in a grounded, emotional way. That's powerful. But here's something you have to understand. If you rely on women to feel confident, you've already lost. Confidence that depends on attention, praise, or validation isn't real. It's temporary. And the second she pulls away or loses interest, it crumbles. Real confidence stays even when no one is watching, even when you get rejected, even when you're alone. That's the kind of presence that makes a woman stop and think, there's something different about this guy. Because you're not trying to impress her. You're just being you, fully, unapologetically, and without fear. Confidence doesn't mean you'll never get nervous or feel doubt. It just means you don't let those things control your behavior. You keep showing up. You keep moving forward. And that energy, it speaks louder than anything you could ever say. 3. Ambition. Let's get something clear right away. Women aren't just attracted to what you have right now. They're attracted to where you're going. Ambition is that invisible force that tells her, this man isn't stuck. He's building something. In today's world, it's easy to get comfortable doing the bare minimum. A steady job, a decent place to live, a few hobbies, and that's it. But comfort can be a trap. And deep down, women know that. They're not just looking for a man who's stable. They're looking for a man who refuses to settle. A man with fire behind his eyes. A man who's chasing something. You don't need to be a millionaire or a CEO to be ambitious. That's not what ambition is. It's not about how flashy your goals are. It's about the mindset you carry. It's about waking up with purpose and doing the work, day in and day out, because you know your life has more in store than what you see right now. When a woman sees that you have direction, it changes everything. You become more than just another guy she's talking to. You become a mission, a movement. You're not just standing still waiting to be chosen. You're on a path. And if she wants to be part of your world, she has to keep up. That shift in energy is powerful. Most guys are waiting for permission to chase their goals. They hold back because they think they need to already have it all before they can attract the right woman. But here's the truth. Ambition is attractive because it's in motion. It's not about what you have. It's about the man you're becoming. And here's something most men miss. When you have real ambition, it changes how you carry yourself. You walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You have less time for games, drama, and pointless distractions. You know what matters to you, and that confidence comes through even when you're silent. Women pick up on that, they can feel it, and it draws them in because ambition creates emotional momentum. She wants to be part of a journey. She wants to feel like she's not just dating a man, but building something with him. And that only happens when your life is headed somewhere worth going. The key, though, is to pursue your goals for yourself, not for her. You can't fake passion. You can't pretend to care about something just to impress a woman. She'll see right through that. Your ambition has to be real. It has to come from a deeper place, a desire to grow, to build, to become more than you were yesterday. Whether your goal is to start your own business, master a new skill, get in peak shape, or create a better future for your family, what matters is that you're actively moving forward. You're not stagnant. You're not coasting. You're chasing. And here's the beauty of it. When a woman sees you chasing your purpose, she doesn't want to slow you down. She wants to come with you. She wants to support, to grow with you, to build something together. But she can only do that if there's actually something to build. So if you've been drifting through life, waiting for the perfect moment to start, stop waiting. Start now. Start small. But start with intention. Because once you move with purpose, everything changes. You stop chasing women. You stop chasing approval. You focus on your mission, and women start chasing you. That's the power of ambition, not flashy, not arrogant, just undeniable. 4. The bad boy. Let's talk about a type of man women can't seem to resist, the bad boy. Not because he's rude or disrespectful, but because he carries something deeper. Something most men don't understand: mystery, detachment, and emotional control. Now let's get this straight. Being a bad boy doesn't mean being toxic. It doesn't mean treating women poorly, or acting cold just to prove a point. What makes the bad boy attractive isn't his attitude, it's his mindset. He lives on his terms. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't seek approval. And that emotional independence makes him incredibly hard to ignore. Here's what most men get wrong. They try to win women over by being overly available, overly emotional, or overly agreeable. But that energy communicates one thing: neediness. And neediness kills attraction. Women don't want a man who puts them at the center of his world from day one. They want a man who has his own world, and then invites them into it, on his time, by his standards. The bad boy doesn't reveal everything at once. He's not constantly explaining himself. He's not flooding her phone with messages. He's focused on his life, and that focus creates curiosity. She starts wondering where he is, what he's doing, and who he's with. That unknown, that small sense of not fully having him, drives her wild. Not because she's insecure, but because it triggers her natural instinct to chase. Mystery matters. When a woman feels like she already knows everything about you, she stops feeling excited. The bad boy understands that. He's selective with what he shares. He doesn't tell his whole story on the first date. He doesn't give constant reassurance, and he doesn't need to be liked by everyone. That unpredictability, that's what keeps her thinking about him when he's not around. And let's talk about emotional control. Most guys lose it the moment a woman pulls away or acts cold. They panic, they overtext, they get desperate. But the bad boy, he stays cool. If she's distant, he doesn't chase. If she tests him, he doesn't react. He holds his ground. That calm energy is powerful. It shows her that no matter what she does, he's in control of himself. And that's rare. A man who doesn't need her attention, who can walk away without bitterness, who knows that his value isn't tied to her response. That's the man who drives her crazy in the best way. Because while most men are trying to win her approval, the bad boy is showing her that he doesn't need it. And that confidence? It creates attraction without effort. But again, don't confuse this with being heartless. The bad boy doesn't hurt people for fun. He simply refuses to bend who he is to fit into someone else's expectations. He knows what he wants. He values his time. He doesn't over-explain his boundaries. And because he respects himself, others do too. Women want to feel challenged. They want a man who's not easy to figure out. Not because they want games, but because they want growth. They want to chase. They want to feel like they're earning something real. And that only happens when you hold your own. So here's the key. Stop thinking you need to prove yourself to be liked. Stop overgiving, oversharing, and overtrying. Pull your energy back. Focus on your mission. Keep a little mystery. Control your emotions. And stop reacting to every little test. Because when she sees that she can't shake you, can't read you, and can't control you, that's when she starts falling. Not for the version of you that tries too hard, but for the version that finally stopped trying at all. 5. Ignored attention. Let's talk about attention because most men are giving it away like it's nothing. And in today's world, that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Women are surrounded by non-stop attention. Their DMs are full, their likes are constant, and compliments are just part of their daily routine. Attention has become cheap, easy, expected. But here's the truth. What's easy to get is easy to forget. When a woman gets constant praise, constant validation, and constant interest, it stops meaning anything. That's why the guy who doesn't throw attention at her like everyone else, he becomes different. He becomes interesting. He becomes valuable, not because he's playing hard to get, but because he doesn't give himself away so easily. Most guys are chasing, they're double texting, they're liking every post, they're constantly trying to stay on her radar. And that kind of energy is obvious. It screams one thing: I want your approval. But here's what women actually respond to: attention that's earned, not given out of desperation. When a woman sees that you're not easily impressed, that you're not handing out compliments just to get a response, something shifts. She starts to notice you. She starts wondering why you're not behaving like every other guy. She questions why your energy feels different. And in that moment, your attention becomes valuable, because it's rare. Scarcity creates desire. That's just human nature. When something is hard to get, we value it more. When it's always available, we take it for granted. And attention works the exact same way. Now, this doesn't mean you should ignore her or act cold. It means you don't reward low effort with high interest. You don't hand out your time, your energy, or your validation just because she exists. You set a standard. If she's showing up in a real, meaningful way, great. But if she's not, you don't chase. You pull back. And that subtle shift in how you operate will change everything. Because here's what most guys never understand. Women want attention, but they also want to earn it. If you give her everything up front, your time, your focus, your validation, without making her work for any of it, you remove the challenge. You remove the tension. And that's what keeps things exciting. When she's not sure if she has you, when she feels like your attention has to be earned, she leans in more. She starts to show more effort. She initiates. She tries to figure you out. And that's when attraction deepens. Not from you overwhelming her with interest, but from her realizing that your attention actually means something. This is why the guy who doesn't always reply instantly, who doesn't always react, who isn't constantly online checking her stories, that guy starts to live rent-free in her mind. Not because he's playing games, but because he's focused on his life. He's not desperate for connection. He's selective with his energy. And that's exactly what makes him irresistible. So stop thinking that more attention equals more results. It doesn't. What matters is how and when you give it. Your attention should feel earned, not automatic. Because when it's rare, it's respected. In a world where everyone is chasing women, the man who doesn't chase stands out. Not because he's trying to be difficult, but because he knows his worth. When she realizes your attention isn't free, she starts treating it like it's priceless. 6. Pre-selection. There's something most men never realize until it's too late. Women aren't just attracted to you, they're attracted to how other women respond to you. This is the power of pre-selection. When a woman sees that you're desired by other women, her perception of you changes almost instantly. Not because she's copying others, but because she instinctively trusts social proof. If others want you, there must be a reason. This is deeper than popularity or being a ladies' man. It's about value. Human psychology is wired to notice what other people are paying attention to. When a man is seen surrounded by women, or even just comfortable in the presence of women, it creates the impression that he's valuable, socially skilled, and emotionally stable. And that's a powerful message. Most guys try to prove their value directly. They talk about their job, their goals, their achievements. But none of that has the same effect as a woman simply seeing that other women want to be around you. When she sees that you're already validated by women she doesn't even know, it creates a new kind of interest, an emotional reaction she can't control. This is why you'll notice that when you're single and chasing women, things are hard. But when you're already in a relationship or just not paying attention to women, suddenly more of them seem to come around. It's not a coincidence. It's pre-selection at work. Your energy is different. You're not desperate. You're not seeking validation. And that shift in energy makes you more attractive without saying a word. Now, this doesn't mean you need to pretend you have options or lie about your dating life. Pre-selection isn't about faking anything. It's about actually having a life that includes women, not just romantically, but socially. If you're always isolated, nervous around women, or obviously lacking experience, it sends the wrong signal. But when you're relaxed, confident, and can comfortably talk to women without trying too hard, that confidence is contagious. Even being seen with female friends can shift how women view you. It shows that you understand women, that you know how to communicate, that you're used to female energy and you're not intimidated by it. And yes, it makes other women curious about you. They start to wonder, what does he have that I'm missing? That curiosity is powerful. It draws them in naturally, without force. Here's the key. You must live this truth. You can't fake pre-selection. You either have experience or you don't. You either give off confident, non-needy energy or you don't. The moment you start acting like a guy who's just lucky to be there, the illusion breaks. But when you know your value, when you're used to female attention and don't chase it, it becomes obvious. Women are competitive, whether they admit it or not. And when they see that you're wanted, their instincts kick in. They start looking at you differently. They pay closer attention. They become more interested, not just in you, but in understanding why others are drawn to you. So instead of chasing women one by one, focus on building a life that attracts them naturally. Build social skills. Build confidence. Be around women without constantly trying to get something from them. When your life already includes positive, organic female energy, you stop being the guy who's trying and start being the guy who already has it. That's the power of pre-selection. It's not something you force, it's something you live. And once you do, attraction doesn't become something you chase. It becomes something you manage. 7. Masculinity. Let's talk about something that's often misunderstood or even attacked in today's world, masculinity. Somewhere along the line, being a strong, grounded man started getting labeled as toxic. But here's the truth no one can deny. Women are still deeply attracted to masculine energy. Not the fake, aggressive kind, not the controlling or loud kind, but real masculinity, the kind rooted in calm strength, purpose, and self-control. A masculine man doesn't need to dominate anyone. He doesn't shout to be heard. He doesn't throw tantrums when things don't go his way. Instead, he leads with presence. He walks into a room and people feel it, not because he's putting on a show, but because he's grounded, and women are instinctively drawn to that. Masculinity is about direction. A man who knows where he's going doesn't need permission. He doesn't wait for approval. He's not seeking someone to tell him who he is. He already knows. And when a woman meets a man like that, everything in her nervous system relaxes. Because deep down, she's wired to look for a protector, a leader, someone who can carry weight without crumbling. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be stoic in a cold way or shut off from your emotions. It means you have control. You don't let emotions dictate your behavior. You can feel things deeply, but you don't act on impulse. That emotional discipline is a massive part of what makes masculinity so attractive. A man who doesn't lose his cool when things get intense, who doesn't chase after a woman the second she pulls away, that man stands out. Think about how most guys react today. A woman doesn't text back and they spiral. She gets moody and they get defensive. She says something challenging and they take it personally. That's not strength. That's emotional instability. And women notice it right away. But the masculine man is the opposite. He stays calm. Not because he doesn't care, but because he knows who he is. He doesn't chase chaos. He doesn't argue just to prove a point. He understands his role, and he doesn't flinch when he's tested. And yes, women will test you, not to hurt you, but to feel you, to see if your energy collapses under pressure. If you fold, they lose interest. If you hold your frame and stay grounded, they lean in closer, because true masculinity makes them feel safe, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Women want to feel like they can relax in your presence, that they don't have to take the lead, that they can stop overthinking, stop controlling, and just be in their feminine. But that only happens when they're with a man who's truly anchored in his masculine, a man who doesn't need her to lead the way. Masculinity also means taking responsibility. You don't blame the world for your problems. You don't expect someone else to save you. You handle your life. You create structure. You build discipline. You do the hard things even when no one's watching. And that kind of self-respect is magnetic. It sends a clear signal. I'm in control of myself. I don't need you, but I choose you. That's what pulls women in, not perfection, not money, not surface-level charm, but strength. Quiet, composed, unshakable strength. So if you've been taught to suppress your masculine side, it's time to wake it back up. Not for women, not for attention, but for you. Because when you become the man who's fully in control of his energy, his emotions, and his direction, you stop chasing and start attracting. That's the power of true masculinity. And in today's world, it's more attractive than ever. 8. Charismatic leadership. Leadership isn't about titles or authority, it's about energy. It's how you carry yourself, how you move through the world, and how you handle pressure. And in relationships, leadership is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. Because the truth is, most men are passive. They wait, they hesitate, they overthink. And in that space of indecision, attraction dies. Women are drawn to men who take charge, not in a controlling way, but in a clear, confident way. A man who leads creates safety. He makes her feel like she can relax because someone else is willing to steer the ship. That kind of presence is rare today, and that's exactly why it stands out. Charismatic leadership is more than just confidence. It's direction mixed with warmth. You're not barking orders or making her feel small. You're guiding the interaction with certainty. You make decisions, you initiate plans, you take the pressure off of her needing to constantly guide things, and that shift builds trust. It tells her, "You're safe here, I've got this." But here's the key. It has to come from a genuine place. You don't need to force anything or act like a dictator. Charismatic leadership shows up in the small details. You plan the date, you pick the place, you guide the conversation, you move with intent. All of that sends a clear message. I'm capable and I know what I want. Compare that to most guys today. They ask too many questions, look for constant reassurance, and over-apologize for taking the lead. They think they're being polite, but what they're really doing is putting all the pressure on her. And deep down, women don't want that. They want to be with a man who knows where he's going, because it allows them to step into their natural feminine energy, receptive, relaxed, and emotionally open. That's the balance. When you lead, she softens. When you hesitate, she hardens. She feels like she has to compensate for your indecision. That's exhausting for her. And it's why so many relationships today feel off balance, because the man refuses to lead and the woman is forced to carry the dynamic. You don't need to lead with dominance. You lead by presence. A calm, centered man who can handle chaos without flinching. A man who doesn't ask for permission to be himself. A man who takes action without waiting for someone else to go first. That's what women crave. Not just because it feels good, but because it feels right. Think about it. How many men today are afraid to offend, afraid to take control, afraid to be misunderstood? That fear creates hesitation, and hesitation kills momentum. But when you move forward with confidence, you create an experience. You take her on a ride. And that's what makes the connection feel exciting, natural, and safe all at once. This doesn't just apply to dating, it applies to life. A man who leads himself is a man others want to follow. When your life has direction, when you're building something real, when your decisions come from vision and not insecurity, people notice. Women notice. And they don't just admire it, they're drawn to it. So, stop playing small. Stop asking for permission to lead. You're not doing anyone a favor by holding back. Step into your role with clarity and calm authority. Be the kind of man who creates direction, not just for himself, but for anyone who chooses to walk beside him. Because when a woman meets a man like that, who leads with confidence, presence, and intention, following him doesn't feel like submission. It feels like freedom. 9. Emotional intelligence. When most guys hear the phrase emotional intelligence, they immediately think it means being sensitive, overly expressive, or acting like a therapist. But that's not what it's about. Emotional intelligence is about awareness. It's about knowing how to read the room, manage your emotions, and handle hers without falling apart or needing to fix everything. And here's the truth. Emotional intelligence is one of the most underrated, yet most attractive traits a man can have. A woman doesn't want a man who's numb. She doesn't want a robot who ignores her feelings or avoids anything deep. What she wants is a man who can handle emotions, hers and his own, without running away, shutting down, or losing control. And that kind of man is rare. Most guys either do too much or not enough. When a woman gets upset, they either panic and try to fix it immediately, or they withdraw and go silent. Neither approach works. She doesn't want you to solve her problems like a math equation. She wants you to feel present, to listen, to understand without judgment. Emotional intelligence is about being calm in chaos. When she's venting, you don't interrupt. When she's emotional, you don't take it personally. You don't jump in to defend yourself or argue. You hold space, you stay grounded. And that tells her more than any words ever could. It says, I can handle this, I can handle you. That's powerful. Because in her world, very few people give her that kind of presence. Most people either want her to calm down or move on. But when you can be there without rushing her, without reacting emotionally, you become a safe place. And safe doesn't mean boring, it means emotionally secure. And that is magnetic. But emotional intelligence also means knowing when to speak. It's not just about listening, it's about communicating in a way that's clear, honest, and intentional. You don't bottle things up and you don't explode. You express your thoughts with calm, direct energy. That level of control builds deep respect. She may not agree with everything you say, but she'll trust how you say it. And here's something most men never think about. Women want emotional depth. They want real conversations, real connection, not surface-level small talk. If you can't meet her there, eventually she'll feel alone, even when she's with you. But when you have emotional range, when you can go deep without losing yourself, you create intimacy that most guys never even touch. You become the man she confides in, not just the one she dates. You become someone who gets her, not because you're trying to, but because you're emotionally in tune with reality, not stuck in your own ego. And that kind of connection, it lasts longer than looks, longer than charm, longer than any game. So, how do you develop this? You stop running from your own emotions. You stop acting like feeling something is weakness. You face it. You sit with discomfort instead of avoiding it. And when you get good at handling your own internal storms, you become the kind of man who can stand steady when she's facing hers. That's emotional strength. That's what makes you different. Not just in her eyes, but in life. Because any man can impress a woman for a night, but only a man with emotional intelligence can make her feel understood. And when she feels that, really feels it, she won't want to let go. 10. Passion. There's something magnetic about a man who's truly passionate. It's not about being obsessed, it's not about being loud, it's about being alive. A man who wakes up excited about something. Whether it's his career, his craft, his growth, that energy is contagious. And women feel it instantly. Here's what most men don't realize. Passion makes you stand out not because of what you do, but because of how you do it. It's not the job title, the car, or the bank account. It's the fire behind your eyes. It's the way you move with purpose, even when no one's watching. It's the way you talk about your goals without needing applause. That's what draws people in, especially women. When a man has no passion, he becomes dull, directionless, heavy. He becomes the kind of guy who sits around, complains about life, and waits for something or someone to save him. And no woman wants to sign up for that. She might feel sorry for him. She might even try to help, but she won't be attracted to him. Because deep down, women don't want to lead your life for you. They want to witness a man who already knows where he's headed, and they want to come along for the ride. Passion isn't just attractive, it's emotional momentum. When a woman sees that you're chasing something with your full heart, it makes her feel something. It inspires her. It gives her something to admire, to believe in. And that belief is what creates connection, because it's not about what you want from her, it's about what you want from life. Too many men think passion means big dreams or dramatic speeches. But passion doesn't always have to be loud, it just has to be real. Maybe it's building a business, maybe it's training your body, maybe it's learning a skill, creating something, or helping others. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it means something to you. And here's the twist. When your passion is genuine, you stop chasing women altogether. You're too focused, too locked in. Your energy shifts. You stop needing attention and start radiating purpose. That shift alone makes you more attractive than anything you could say or do. Think about the opposite. A man who has no drive, no vision, no personal fire. He might still get attention. He might still say the right things. But it won't last. Because after a while, she'll feel it. He's empty. He's waiting for her to bring excitement into his life. And that weight is too heavy for any woman to carry. But when a woman steps into the life of a passionate man, everything feels different. She's not your source of meaning. She's part of something bigger. You don't need her to entertain you, to rescue you, or to motivate you. You've already got something that fuels you every day. And that independence makes her want to get closer, not pull away. So don't chase women. Chase your purpose. Get clear on what lights you up and lean into it with everything you've got. Because when you do, your presence changes, your voice sounds different, your eyes carry focus, and your time becomes more valuable. That's what she's drawn to, not a man who's trying to win her over, but a man who's already winning at life. Passion doesn't need to be proven, it just needs to be lived, and once you start living it, you won't have to convince anyone of your worth. They'll feel it, and more importantly, so will you. You've just learned the 10 hidden weaknesses that most women will never admit, but every man needs to understand. And now, you've got a choice. You can ignore this and keep wondering why things never work out. Or you can use it. Because this isn't about tricking anyone. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase. Because everything about him naturally pulls people in. His confidence, his consistency, his direction, his emotional control. Most guys are stuck looking for the right line or the perfect timing. But what actually works, what always works, is becoming rare, becoming solid, becoming grounded in who you are. So ask yourself, which of these 10 traits have you been missing? Which one are you going to focus on starting today? Even one shift in how you show up can completely change how people respond to you, especially women. If this video helped you see things more clearly, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what hit you hardest. And if you're ready to stop playing by broken rules and start showing up like a real man, subscribe for more raw, honest advice that actually works. And if you want to support this mission and help us keep creating content that matters, consider joining the channel. It helps us stay independent and focused on helping men like you. You've seen the truth. Now it's time to use it.